Good morning. We're already starting out laughing. It's good. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good everything. Good day. Good day. Today's a great day. So, yeah. Okay, that's it. I'm kidding. Um, how is everyone today? Where is everyone from? Is anyone even here? Not yet. I know Leslie Williams will be here in a sec. Yeah. Okay, see? All right. These are the things we count on. Anyway, I'm very excited today. We have so many things going on. I don't normally do this through the summer. I usually take August off, and I do. Last summer, I ended up not taking it off because I did that whole thing for the Shift Network, and it was really fun. And this summer, I have the book due on September 30th. I may need to write an email suggesting that it comes in October 30th because I'm it's a lot. It's a lot. And when it's done, you'll see why. It's going to be so thick. It'll be much, I don't know how many pages this is. This is only 100 and, can't read. But my energy healing for animals was a lot more pages. Yeah, this is 187 or so with a lot of, and if you need to buy it, it's really good. Very helpful. But, there's a lot of activity going on here. If you see me staring into space, I got plenty of sleep. It's that there are cats torturing dogs. Queen Latifah she's in the house. That's all I have to say. And she's gonna do oh, you know what's in the way is there's stuff in the way because she wants to jump up and then the dog has to try and smell her butt on the ascent. On the ascent. Yeah. Yeah, look at them. So anyway, I apologize, but I don't even know what I was saying. I was saying it was a great day. Oh, I don't normally do this in August. I usually am auditing the school, doing personal projects, but this has been really fun to still keep this as a schedule because I do better with a schedule. This summer I've been like, oh, I mean, this is the exact thing. Example is you think you have all day for 3 days in a row to work on the book and you don't get started till 4 and you got up at 6. So that just shows you like I do better with a little structure because everything's really clean. Have you noticed?
Oh yeah, no, I remember when I first met you, you said that your house was never cleaner than when you wrote your first book.
Yeah, and when I was a screenwriter, my friends in LA always remind me that my eyebrows were completely plucked out and then I'd vacuumed even, the toilet. So it's like, when there's no more vacuuming, or poop to pick up. So anyway, my place looks fabulous and it's been really fun to be here. And so we have some really great things coming up. Is anyone else here?
Yes, I'm sorry. I see the little bat wing from the thing that shows up.
Oh.
So I'm trying to fix it. There we go. Okay, so we've got Susie Reed says, it's a great day. I got here on time. Yeah,
yay.
Hi, Susie. Jan Ramian says, good afternoon, Joan and Claudia.
Good afternoon.
Jan. Joyce Lee Leggett says, hi.
Hello.
Susie says, your chakra book will rock. You teach it so clearly in your classes. Refer to your videos. You got this.
Thank you. I'll tell you about that in a sec. Is anyone else here?
Val says, good morning.
Good morning, Val. So, all right, I have to do the introduction. If you're new to me, my name is Joan Ranquet. I'm an animal communicator, author, TEDx speaker, and founder of Communication with All Life University. We have coaching programs for animal communication, energy healing, nature and wildlife, and I take people on wildlife trips. I'm about to do something with a college. And we've got some really great things for moving animal communication forward, including the outreach program. We're going to Michigan in October. and doing work with Stevens College coming up. So all sorts of crazy great things. And today we're going to focus on energy, and I've got some little teeny exercises that we'll do here in a minute. But and I want to talk about the fifth chakra, but I want to remind people of things coming up. So we have, of course, the intensive is October 4th through the 12th. Is that right?
Yes.
And then, Maria and Durga are going to be teaching the first 3 days. Yeah. Oh, hi. Hi. And this is Penelope, as we all know. Penelope had a weird thing on her throat. It's amazing. And you know what I did it with? Massive vitamin C, SOD, and dynamite trace minerals. I have antibiotics. I never gave them to her. And then the pure remedy as a topical. But anyway, so we have the fall intensive coming up. We have animal communication level 1. So if you can't travel, but you want to do a class once a week, that's a great class. And that's taught mostly by my faculty, though I do Q&As and I do the first and last class. And then we've got energy healing for animals, level 1 starting in November. So all of that's coming up. Now on September 7th, I will be at the Gentle Barn teaching an energy class, and it's for compassion fatigue. And it's we're going to do a little EFT and a little scalar. And I've taught about compassion fatigue a lot through the oh my God, that vegan in defense of animals. I did a lot of in 2016, I did like a whole series for them on compassion fatigue and tapping. I'm trying to think of who else. I did a lot of stuff with specific organizations, and that's what made me think of that idea I just said as far as the outreach goes. So when we go into shelters, we have done this with them as we do a lot of compassion fatigue and get kind of their worst story out of their just because then they're fresher and less judgmental when people come in. Because I know if I didn't have a self-care routine and a way to release, that third person that came in and said that, the dogs just aren't getting along and you are returning the dog, I can't, right? I don't have that threshold for pain. But I also know that there's, on a higher level, there's a better situation. I just get caught up in the human stuff. So compassion fatigue is a really important component. So if you want to come and have some fun, we're going to be at the Gentle Barn on September 7th. And then, what was that? Did a bird hit the window? What was it? Did one of my birthday balloons finally pop? From a week and a half ago? Anyway, and then we have the EFT virtual weekend coming up.
Yes.
And that's going to be super fun. So if you wanted to get a little start with EFT, that's coming up. And then in the fall intensive, we have the animal communication, death, dying, and beyond, and then energy healing for animals. And so that's why I wanted to focus a little bit on energy, because one of the things that we do in person that we don't get to do online is play with energy fields. So we'll play with our own here for a minute. So did anyone else come on and say hi?
Yes. Terry Ann McGrath says good morning. Girls.
Oh my God. Okay. Terry Ann McGrath. It's on the, oh my God. I have to tell you, when I opened this present, I was like, how did she know this about me? I feel so seen. So this is what I got.
30-second dance party.
But oh yeah, talk about energy. Here comes Abby. Abby. Anyway. No. Are you ready? Yeah. Thank you, Terry Ann.
Okay, so back to
It was a hit. It was
was.
a hit. I had a few people over, and it was a hit.
Sharon Joseph says good morning.
Oh, good morning, Sharon. Hopefully I'm going to see you tonight.
Kimry Mongan says good morning.
Good morning.
Audrey Johnson says good morning.
Good morning.
Leslie Shumway Smith Sims says good morning.
Good morning. I hope everybody got a little dance party going.
Yeah, Ellen Dillon says hello. That was awesome. LOL. Leslie
Thank
Williams
you.
says that's so funny. Sorry.
Oh my God. I couldn't believe how much Terry Ann knows me.
I mean, it was, yeah.
It was like,
Oh,
it was
my
genius.
You were hilarious showing it to everyone, and just, yeah.
And Christina Drake was the one that, like, she turned it. Yeah, it's a me and Christina thing for sure. She was down visiting, cause yeah. Anyway, she was down visiting, and oh my God, we played it all the way to the grocery store. Yeah.
Sharon says, yes, see you tonight. We need another party.
Always. Okay. I have my mermaid cup today because
Someone is very intrigued by your cup.
Are you a mermaid? Do you want the dance party? Okay. Yeah. So, it's been a summer of laughing.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I was going to say about the fifth chakra is this has been, I can't make this up, right? I cannot make this up. I started on that chakra. Now, mind you, for those that don't know, I have a book deal with Findhorn Press, which is also Inner Traditions, for the animal chakra system. And I have a class out. I've written about chakras, way back in 2007 when my first book came out, which means I wrote it in 2005. There's a whole section in my first book, Communication with All Life, the Hay House book, about chakras. I have a funny story, actually. When I got notes back from the publisher, from the editor, they said I had written something about third chakra, and they're like, what is a chakra? And I'm like, you guys publish books about chakra, but it taught me a lot about, like, feed the reader that might not know. But anyway, so I got schooled by Hay House on the chakras in that first book. But I write extensively, not extensively, but a pretty good sized chapter in the second book. I've outlined this book years ago, and just am always collecting stories, and that's kind of how life goes. As I outline something, I keep binders, so I just this is a good fifth chakra story, put it in there, and so through time, I like these really genuine, authentic stories through my experience to be part of the book. So I get to the fifth chakra weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. And what happens? Like, I had an opening that I had written a long time ago about, vocal expression. So I started with the gibbons. And because I live down the street from a gibbon center, for those that don't know, and gibbons are the small apes that sing. So I started with that and animals that, vocalize. And then she got this thing on her throat. Now, this is an expressive dog. But in the meantime, then, I've had 5 guests, all who have had Hashimoto's. What are the odds? And a 6th friend dealing with potentially Hashimoto's. Where do you file that? Who could make that up? So anyway, no, the chapter's not about Hashimoto's, in case you're wondering. I still carried on about vocalization, communication, our connection, our ability to communicate with other species. It's pretty great. And I've broken each of the chapters down into, first there's an intro, so it's sort of like an overarching theme of the chakra and the animals. And then it goes into the symbolism, the energetics and emotions, the domestic and the wildlife, the physical aspect, and I go into meridians and, blah, 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 blah. what part of the endocrine system. I mean, if you think about the chakra system matches up with every nerve plexus and every something in the endocrine system. And the vagus nerve runs almost all the way through it. And, well, I mean, I could go on, clearly, because I'm writing a book about it. So, anyway, I'm up to here in chakras. And this one, it took me a while to get the party started. But thank God I've got a cue now. Because remember, we can always do this.
30-second dance party.
Anyway, so we have a lot of fun with chakras around here, but it took a long time to get going. So I have been a little bit behind. So even when I plan out all this time to write, it's hard. So anyway, that is my 5th chakra story. I just cannot believe that. Does anyone else here have Hashimoto's or thyroid issues on the thread? I'm sure that somebody's going to go, me too. Anyway. Is anyone commenting?
I'm waiting. Well, while people, I'm.
You're dealing with thyroid issues. Yeah. She's one of the people. And it's been dramatic. And that's why it's like.
Kimberly Mongan says hypothyroidism. Val Smith, thyroid. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Val's in my circle. It's like everyone in my circle this month has like, I tell them, I'm on the 5th chakra. I'm doing this. Carolyn McGee, my cousin, Kat.
Leslie Shumway Sims, I'm hypothyroid.
Yeah. And I have a question for each of you. Do you feel like you've expressed yourself through life?
Nope. Or that I wasn't allowed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a full-throated screamer, but that's just me.
Ellen Dillon, hypothyroid.
Yeah. It's big. And as women, are we expressing ourselves? Do we feel our communication is heard? You do. I mean.
Now.
Yeah.
I'm as Jeff, my husband likes to say, oh, you found your voice.
And I can see him saying that.
Or he'll say to me, you don't want to hurt your throat.
Anyway.
Okay, here we go. Val says, no, very shushed.
Yeah.
Kimberly Morgan says, have always had trouble with expression. Like, all joking aside, I was very shushed. So I think it's, if we were to do
it's amazing.
A survey.
Yeah. It has been eye-opening, and it's been intense to write. And the other thing, and this is where I got to yesterday, and then I had to go to the movies. Because I have a friend that was in a movie called Between the Temples. My first dog walking gig in 1988 was with a woman named Carol Kane. I used to walk her pugs, and she's became a friend. And I worked for her for many years with her dogs. I house sat. I flew first class with Lola in my arms in the early 90s whenever she needed to get to New York and bring 2 dogs. Anyway, I did a lot with dogs early on. But I snuck out to the movies, and it's a very good movie, Between the Temples, I have to say. But what I realized also is one of the biggest things, and it was really delicious to write, and I can't wait I was really frustrated because I got up early and was going to write for a couple hours this morning, and it didn't happen. But anyway, it goes back to that whole thing of, we also don't recognize animals' body language and their physical their expression through physicality. So by the time somebody gets bitten, you've had 19 warnings. By the time something happens, there's the body's done this, the body's done that, the body's done this, the body's done that, and we haven't noticed. And so, I feel like this, I'm hoping, I know that even if you hated EFT, that I go deep into behavior and the emotions, emotional freedom technique, right? Emotions that are going to supply behavior that are going to, you know what I mean, also have everything to do with the wellness and health challenges. So, and this is a good, it's a good starter for learning behavior. But I hope that this book, because it isn't a technique, so that's really niche. People that want to learn EFT for animals, I get it. It's niche. Chakras for animals may also be another niche, but I believe it's going to be pretty eye-opening because it's not just the energetics of it and the woo. It's really like, this is how it plays out. So when you have that overly expressive lab who's pulling at the leash, you're going to move that thyroid, and eventually that's going to be the big lab that has the fat pads that can't move because nobody addressed that thyroid thing early on. So, you know what I mean? Like, the implications are throughout the whole thing. So I digress. Anyway, I'm kind of in love with the process right now, so it's fun to share. But there's a lot to it. And I mean, I don't even know how I got through the heart chakra. That was equally like weeks of like, oh my God. But anyway, is this boring?
No.
Okay. You gave me a funny look.
No.
Okay.
I can't, I have my reading glasses on, so to see you that far away is kind of tough.
Okay.
I'm looking at the phone.
All right. That's the funny look then.
No.
Okay, good.
I want to know more about
Because she's looking at me like this. What's that look? I know all the other hand signals.
I'm like trying to see with my reading glasses on. Sharon says, I can't wait to read this book. Me too. I was just, what I was thinking when you asked me that was really, I want to know about the heart chakra now.
Well, you read the first 2 chapters. Yeah, you
chakra
did.
book?
Yeah, like a year ago.
Yes, I did. Oh my God. I was like, you haven't let me read the chapters recently. You're talking about a while back. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I did. Yeah.
And you like it?
No. It's...
Somebody's a party pants.
Yeah.
Someone's a party pants. Anyway.
It's, what I love about the book, and that's the same thing that I felt with EFT, is that you take these ethereal, or for lack of a better word, woo, and really ground them in reality and the physical aspect and the behavioral aspect of an animal, which then also includes people.
Yeah.
It just makes these, like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Connections?
No, but like things that are abstract. Thank you. Abstract ideas and concepts, and really grounds them in everyday reality and practicality.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like what we teach in the school, is how to take all this and really make it practical.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, we've got to stop the biting dogs and you know what I mean? Like, we've got to find out why, so that they don't feel the need to do it. We don't have to stop them because we're not going to shush them. We need to create mechanisms that we discover why, and we have protocols for them to be able to express themselves in another way. So that's it. That's all. I'm just writing little opus. But yeah, it feels really big, and it feels really good, and I feel like when you were doing this with the abstract, I feel like I'm taking a number of things and making a giant connection.
That's exactly, yeah.
And that's the piece that I love, because these are boing, boing ideas in my head for 1,000 years, where I'm like, wait, this behavior, I've seen this a few times. This is a pattern. What? Oh, this is a third chakra thing. And it's definitely connected to digestion. You know what I mean? Like it's like taking this and this and realizing they're not that far apart. Even though one is emotional and one is physical, or one is energetic and one is a behavior, it's very, I think it's important. It's seeing it as a whole.
That's, yeah, the practicality aspect, the connection of it, the grounding it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I love about the way you write.
Thank you. And hopefully you're never going to not see it, right? Like hopefully you're going to read this and you're going to go, oh, now you know, people and animals are still individuals, right? It's not like we're going to lump them into this. Oh, they're this. But we might have insight as to why they are acting like that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I wanted to talk about energy fields and energy and all of that. And one of the big things I love to think about is that our home is basically an ecosystem, if you will, and it's made up of all the parts. And so I talk about this in my second book, Energy Healing for Animals. About we have to be the emotional leader, and I bring it up in the EFT book, and it's coming up in the chakra book, in the heart chakra mostly. Anyway, so Rupert Sheldrake is a biologist out of the UK, and he did a number of experiments, and he talks a lot about morphic resonance, and he did a lot of experiments with animal. He wrote a book called Dogs Know When Their Owner is Coming Home, and so he did experiments where the dog would be at home and the person would leave their job at a different time each day, like not the same time. Like if they normally left every day at 5, this day they might leave at 3:19. The camera on the dog was time stamped, and it was time stamped in the office. And so the person would leave their desk 3:19, and the dog would get up from a nap and go sit by the door. And so he creates this whole argument for an energy field that exists, morphic resonance, that we have a morphic field of energy of that resonates because we are together. And once we connect, we're always connected in some form. And when we live together, I like to call it, we have a giant ecosystem. So in that ecosystem, it has its own or morphic resonance. It has its own intelligence, its own sort of signature in the Akashic records, if you will. It's got its own intelligence. It's got its own energy. It's almost like this little embryo, if you will. And I know that, like, when you come into my house, what do you feel? And I work very hard at having a peaceful environment. And the environment is peaceful even if I'm like, oh my God, you can't believe what happened. Or, oh, I didn't write today. You know what I mean? Like, my frustration doesn't permeate the house because we've set the thermostat for harmony. And how is that? I mean, when I say I set the thermostat, that's obviously, I can only do it through intention. There isn't a big dial over there that says harmony. But we can play with what that feels like. And so what I love to create for people is a sense of that emotional leadership. And maybe next week we can talk a little more about emotional ways that we can be emotional leaders. But for today, I want us to just, I mean, I know that a lot of you are pretty advanced, but it's always fun to just review some of the basics. So the first thing I want to do, and is anybody saying anything?
Sharon says it's fun when she comes. The feeling is fun when she comes to your house.
Oh, yes.
And Val says calm and peaceful.
Yeah.
And Tanya has posted in the links. Thank you, Tanya.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, it's unless there's a dance party, it's pretty peaceful. And then the dance party's just fun. We've had a few dance parties. You always go home before that starts.
Yeah.
Charlie and Brenda and I were up pretty late one night dancing. The I love for us to have an awareness of our own energy field, because this goes back to the whole thing of what is our energy bringing to the household? What are they saying to us that we're not noticing because we're so in our head? And what is it that we could be doing to creating more calm? So first and foremost, I like for everybody to take a moment and just feel your own energy field. So rub your hands together. And just to get a sense of how far out there, can you feel the energy here? Can you feel it here? And now the gibbons are singing. Can you feel it out here? Can you still feel it? And here, I mean, I'm still feeling it between my hands. So that tells us how, pretty much how big the auric field, how big my field is, especially, I mean, I'm here right now doing this and it's fun. And when I'm teaching, I'm bigger. When I'm meditating or daydreaming, I'm smaller. My energy field is bigger and smaller. And that's one of the things we do with the intensive is I do this whole exercise where, I wonder if we could do it.
Where is you want to do the...
Can you see my energy field? Yeah.
Yeah, I talked about that.
I'll do it next week.
Last week I talked about it when I was talking about my energy with the animals, and how at the fall intensive you do the aura one, and someone actually asked, what do you mean bringing your energy in?
Yeah. So is anyone saying anything? Can they feel their energy? And sometimes, for example, like our friend Ellie's got the flu right now, so her energy, if she were to do that, or people with COVID, like, you might not get that far out there, right? You might really, and the more you do this, the more you recognize what's a full pulse, what's, like, I can feel my energy's big, but I'm excited about a lot of things. Yeah, we have Kat, who's been on the team for 8 years, coming in today. And we're going to work on a lot of the travel stuff. So, anyway, okay. So tell me, what's the quality of your energy when you feel this feeling?
People are commenting. Henry Mongan says, I can feel it stronger when my hands are closer together. Leslie Williams says, I can feel my energy. Susie Reed says, okay, my property backs up to State Park. We're having visitation from the park of unknown origin, bear, raccoon, etc. The dogs are losing their minds. I need to send a 10-acre wide field.
Yes. That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
And your puppy, oh my God. Susie's got the life. I think Susie's got might win the award for figured out best lifestyle ever. Okay, so when we play more and more with that, we're able to identify what other people or animals' energy is feeling like for us. So when we do something like the scalar wave, I love to go in, and when I'm feeling like somebody's like this, I call it the tippy canoe. I know that like that animal probably is on a lot of medication, or so it's like the more we can start to define even just our own energy field. Like right now mine is buoyant and it's big and it's really wide, and this is when I have to stay in my body. I have to ground because I could get so excited I just fly right out. I've told this before, I once got pulled over and I was about to go on vacation the next day, and the policeman said, "Did you know that you just blew through that stop sign?" I said, "Oh no, I left my body hours ago." And he died laughing and didn't give me a ticket. So that's when my energy's like this, I gotta, right, Penelope? We have to, she's like, what?
Susie Reed says, thanks, he's an adorable terrorist.
They're all terrorists.
Everything.
Val has a terrorist.
I have quite a few.
Yeah, you do. We encountered so much on the hike today, and my pack was so good. I was so proud of them. Dogs we've never met before, and they sat on the side. Well, they were wiggly, but we sat on the side of the trail.
Ellen says, just as strong far away.
Yeah. And so I'm the same right now. Is it grounded? Is it, like, I know that mine can be pretty big because, like I said, I'm teaching and I'm expressing and I'm big right now because I'm trying to get something across. But when I'm writing, I'm super small. I'm so small. I'm sad that I'm by myself writing. I'm kidding. But I have those moments where it's like, oh, this is hard. And I'm really small. But right now, I'm big. So what is, if you're big, is it because of something, or are you just super aware? Are you in your happy place? Like, I've hiked this morning. I've been out in my riverbed. I've fed my horses. And it's stunning.
Ellen says, it's grounded right now, but I know what you mean about needing to be tethered.
Yeah, because it's like, out we go. Whee!
Describe me when I walk in sometimes.
Oh my God. The only thing that's holding her down is the 19 bags she carries all her crap in. She looks like she's moving it with computers, and if it's a filming day, like, there's a camera bag and there's a this, and then if she brought lunch, it's this and that, and the next thing you know, she's like got a million stories, but these bags are holding her down. That's our friend. Twirly.
Ellen says, I'm in the middle of a great day.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that's a great thing to notice. Like, then if I'm in the middle of a great day, I don't have anything extra to do to ground. But if I'm in a then I gotta, bring it down. And why is this important? Well, first of all, it's important just because, these are the days that you blow through a stop sign if you're not careful. These are the days you could trip down the stairs because you're so ahead of yourself. But these are the days that we can also really unground our own animals, right? Like, they're like, oh, here she goes. If the energy field of the household isn't maintained first, right? So what is that, that feeling? What is it that you want to create? Like, I want peace and harmony. That's what my most important thing for my household. But that's just for our personal life. And I always say, when you come to programs here, whether you're taking a digital class or even just if all you ever do is do Facebook Lives, my intention for us is to improve our own lives, improve the household, and hopefully create a skill that we can help even more. So if we're improving our own lives, great. If we're improving our household. But if you want to be out there in the world working with animals, this excitement isn't going to serve me, right? Like, I can't go down and get on Felina, who's my newest horse, she's a lot. She is this. She's like, hi, oh my God, everything's so fun. She wants to sleep with her boyfriend. I'm like, you're only 8. So anyway, it's, she tries to get in his stall every night when it's dinner time. So I can't come to the party with like, I'm so excited about my book. I've got to come like this. So even with my own, I've got somebody who's a dance party. But what happens when I go to work with animals? And I've been doing a lot. That's the other thing. It's like I've been writing in the morning, and then I've been going into Woodland Hills and a few other places and tapping on dogs. And with Sharon. And then the other dog that I've been tapping on has been, is a dog that's afraid of the help for a guy that's in his 30s but has the mental capacity of a 5-year-old, and he's in a wheelchair. So if that dog is afraid of the help and I come in like this, no bueno. And Sharon will tell you, when I walk in, her daughter has a timid dog who could become reactive if that didn't get turned. And I come in super grounded and don't even look at the dog and go sit in a chair. So my desire to be like, oh, you're so cute is like, I'm just not that person anyway, thank God. I'll lose my shit over baby quail for sure, but in the house and they can't see me. But when they were this big, and I just saw them go by, we squealed. But I'm not normally that person, and I'm certainly not that person ever around anybody else's animals, because I don't want to put more. So what is this? If the world of animals is pressure release, what is my big energy? It's pressure. So it's okay to be big energy when, my animals know that I'm not always this. So they're all chilled here. Also, we went on a huge hike, but they're all chilled here. And that's part of what I do for energy management as well, right? Like if it wasn't a hike day, I have other activities on my jump rope ride mornings, because I don't ever want that. They're used to me now, but if I brought a new puppy in, I'm very mindful of how much exercise how much release that animal gets before it comes into pressure. Because no matter what, no matter how loving, no matter how great we are often a great deal of pressure for them. Does that make sense? Yeah. Is any of this making sense? Is anyone still here?
Yes, people are here. Let's give them a second. Sharon says, yes, so cool that Joan taps on Elio.
He's so cute. You would lose it. He looks like your kind of dog. He's super cute. He's got, I think he's got a little boxer in him. But he's definitely pit, but there's definitely that influence.
Susie Reed says, oh my God, yes. Ellen Dillon says, makes total sense. Carlin Ross says, still here.
Thank
Jen
you.
Ramian says, yes, makes sense. That's what while you put me on the live, that's what it was about. It was just about me being, and I know I'm not the only one. I want to hug him and squeeze him, right? Like it's that energy.
Yeah.
If you approach an animal with that energy, what are they going to do? They're going to cower down.
Yeah. And I really, and I think what we'll do is, because time got away, I had other things I wanted to talk about, but we'll go into emotional leadership next week. That can be really fun. But, if we look at everything that an animal, if you look at a herd of horses, and I spent Sunday playing with my horses. After I was with you, I came home. I did write. Yeah, we ate. We went to an art fair with her husband, and then I did some writing, and then I rode Pegasus out on the trails. And then I let all my horses into the arena, and everybody rolled, and it was super fun. I have great pictures. But I love to play with my whole herd, and I love to watch them, because the minute I step in, I'm the pressure. And that's what they do with each other, right? The stallion will come through. It's like, I'm going to have sex with whomever I want right now. And they adjust themselves, right? And the lead mare comes through and says, I'm going to eat first. And so her coming through with her head in a certain way and throwing everybody out is pressure, and they create the release. And then when they settle into that next thing, that's the pressure release is very similar to fight, flight, or rest and digest, right? this is the total language of animals. And we have all these other things that wouldn't even make sense to them. All they're responding to is it pressure? Is it release? Is it fight or flight? Or is it rest and digest time? So this is, I mean, if we applied nothing else to our days with our own animals, and then as we start to work with animals, you're going to see a huge, huge difference in your household and with the animals that you're working with. Like, I never want to be, when I'm walking into someone's house, the pressure. I've got to be part of the release. And then the last thing I wanted to say is that, like, when you, let's say, like, I know why my energy field is like this out here, and I'm gonna get quiet. I've got some work to do. We have paperwork, and then I'm gonna drive to the airport and pick up Kat, and then we're gonna work in a coffee shop, and then to avoid traffic, right? 'Cause otherwise it'd be a 2-hour drive home. So we'll hang out in Venice and work on the travel stuff. But I'll get, my energy gets very small in traffic. I'm not a rager. I'm just sort of like, I groove. Because I'm never in traffic, so I don't give a shit. So anyway, the beauty of working from home. This is my traffic jam. But I really know that there are so many reasons that can make us big and can make us small. So that sense of, like, I don't know why I'm this big, or I just got off an airplane, or can come down to our polarity can be off. So one of the most simple things you can do is to go from the right side to the left side 6 to 8 times. And I already felt myself go like that. So from the right to the left, and it links up the right and left hemisphere, and we can do it with the animals too. So when you see, like, your dog is like, uh-oh, he doesn't know why it's super anxious, that's a great thing to do to Trixie 100 times a day. She's not anxious, she's just excitable.
She's very expressive.
And she's very expressive. She's exuberant.
She's exuberant.
Yeah. But it's a great thing to do. Like, I do it to the horses all the time when they're all, have their panties in a wad. And look, a lot of barns have the fluorescent lights, so there's so many ways that our horses get kind of amped up, and they're like kind of, you see the whites of their eyes. Like, that's a great thing to make them go. So, and for a dog, Abby, oh my God, they're so out. You want to show the world Abby?
For special Abby pose?
We'll just do it to Abby. Hi. Hi. So, her right side is obviously my left, and she's 2. Did you see that breath? Even though she's super chill, she took some deeper breaths. So that's how you do it on a dog. I'm looking around at Queen Latifah.
That's okay.
I'm not going to wake her up, though.
I'll show them.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's it. Some fun exercise, a good exercise, a grounding exercise, and just some fun energy moments today. Did Susie do the...
Susie, that's why I was smiling when you looked at me like you thought I had something to say. Susie posted, so when they go off at the sound they heard and I go off to shut the F up. Probably bad.
Don't tell me a Susie comment with my mouthful of coffee.
Right, exactly. Michael Hofferbert says that forehead swiping cleared my head. It
really
does.
Good. Yeah, it's really, you know, when you feel yourself amping up, right? Busy airport, traffic, you know, all of the things. It's really good to just, you know, find your way, because we get, you know, we can get, obviously we're empathic, so we pick up on others. So there you go. Thank you for joining. We've got lots of fun things. I forgot to share. We have 7 spots in the dolphin trip. That's in June. We have 2 spots still for the Kenya, Tanzania, and we have the Rwanda. I have 3 spots. So, is there another trip? Yeah, Tula Tula. So I'll talk to you about that. Okay, so everybody, thank you, and I'll see you next week.